realize it in the break room. Not in a dramatic way, not the way people describe realizations in movies, where everything goes slow and the music swells and someone finally understands something. It's just, you're standing by the coffee machine, the same one you've stood by 100 times, the same hum, the same burnt smell, the same beige wall, and you realize you are watching the door. You are always watching the door. You don't remember when you started doing that. There was a version of you that walked into this building and didn't think about it. She existed. She was real. She wore the shoes she liked, not the shoes she could run in. She took the longer route to her desk, because it passed the window, and the light in the morning came in at an angle she found genuinely beautiful. She had opinions in meetings. She said them out loud. She sometimes stayed late. Not because she was afraid to leave at the same time as someone else, but because she was actually genuinely interested in finishing the thing she'd started. That version of you brought a plant to her desk. A small succulent, green, ugly in an endearing way. Still there. You haven't touched it in weeks. You're not sure if it's alive. You don't look at your desk long enough to know. For you knew the names of your colleagues' kids. You remembered which meetings were worth attending, and which ones you could half listen to while answering emails. You had routines that felt like yours. Coffee at 9:15, lunch at 12:30, usually outside, even in winter, because you liked the cold air after a morning of recycled office oxygen. Small things, nothing remarkable. But they were yours. And you moved through this building the way you moved through your own apartment, without calculating every step, without measuring the space between yourself and the nearest exit, without standing by the coffee machine and watching the door. You don't need to replay it. Your body already does that, without your permission, without a trigger you can identify, without warning. Just suddenly you are not fully in the room you are standing in. You are somewhere between here and there, between now and then. You don't talk about what happened, not in full sentences, not yet. What you know is this. Something shifted. Something that was supposed to be professional became something it had no right to become. And the person who made it that way is still in this building, still in meetings, still CC'd on emails, still given the deference the structure here demands. That's all you will say. It's all you need to say. Because this isn't a story about what happened. This is a story about what's left. The building is the same building. You know this. You remind yourself, logically, factually, architecturally, it is the same. Same floor plan. Same elevator that takes 4 seconds too long to close. Same flickering light in the corridor by the stairwell that facilities has been looking into since March. But it doesn't feel the same. Feels like a place that knows what it is. Like it has reorganized itself around something. Like the hallways have gotten slightly narrower and nobody else has noticed. You walk differently now. You probably think you're hiding it. You're not. Take the stairs when before you take the elevator. Not for the exercise. Tell yourself it's for the exercise. It's because the elevator is a small room. And small rooms are now something you calculate before entering. Who's in there? How many people? Where you'd stand? Whether the numbers above the door are moving. You sit with your back to walls in meeting rooms. You noticed when you started doing it, catalogued it. Clinically, the way you catalog everything now, that's a new behavior. That's adaptive. That's fine. It's not fine. It's just yours now. You are good at meetings. You have always been good at meetings. Present, articulate, able to track 3 conversations simultaneously and synthesize them into something useful. That skill hasn't gone anywhere. If anything, it's sharper now. Because hypervigilance, it turns out, is excellent preparation for corporate environments. You know who's in the room before you sit down. You know where he is at all times, even when you're looking somewhere else. You have developed a kind of peripheral awareness that feels biological at this point. A sense you didn't have before and cannot switch off. He speaks in a meeting and you feel your jaw tighten. You say nothing. You make a note on your notepad. The note is not about what he said. The note is a word you write repeatedly to give your hand something to do. A word like present, or here, or sometimes just your own name, written small in the bottom corner, as if to confirm, you are still here. You are still you. You are still in this room, which is not that room, and it is now, not then. Nobody notices. That's the thing about performing fine. You get very good at it. And the better you get, the more invisible the cost becomes. Tell your friend you're okay. You are not okay, but you are not okay in any way that feels speakable yet. So okay is what comes out, and okay is what she hears, and the conversation moves on to something else, and you feel simultaneously relieved and marooned. You write the email, the professional, measured, appropriate email, the one that demonstrates you are a functioning adult with no visible cracks. You read it back 4 times. You adjust 1 word. You send it. You feel nothing. You feel everything. You tell yourself you are processing. You tell yourself you know what you're doing. Tell yourself that what happened was, and then you stop. 'Cause the sentence has 17 possible endings, and none of them feel accurate, and all of them feel too large and too small at the same time. You are confused in a way that has no simple name. Not confused about what happened. That part is not confusing. That part is clear. In the way that certain things become very clear afterward. What you are confused about is what to do with the clarity, where to put it, how to carry it without it rearranging everything you touch. You trusted the structure here, the formal, unspoken structure that said, there are rules, there are lines. There is a version of this institution that protects people. You are trying to figure out if you ever actually believe that, or if you just never had reason to question it. You are no longer sure what you believed before. Your body has opinions now. Strong ones, unexplained ones. Opinions it didn't used to share. You can be in the middle of a completely ordinary task, formatting a spreadsheet, waiting for a document to load, stirring your coffee, and your heart will behave as though something is about to happen. Not fast, not dramatic, just elevated, just present, like it's sending a signal that never quite resolves into its intended destination. You have read about this. You know the language for it. Clinical, tidy language that names what the body does when it has been frightened and not allowed to finish being frightened. Knowing the language doesn't stop it. Knowing the language is like being given a map of a country you still have to live in. You are cold in rooms that aren't cold. You are tired in ways that sleep doesn't fix. You flinch at sounds you've heard 1,000 times. A door handle, a chair dragged across a floor, a voice down the corridor that is not his voice but occupies, for a quarter second, the same frequency. You don't always flinch visibly. Sometimes it's just internal. A contraction, a held breath, a moment where you are very, very still, without choosing to be still. You notice all of it. That's the thing. You notice everything, and the noticing is exhausting, and there is no off switch, and you are so tired of your own awareness. The hardest part is not the fear. The fear at least makes sense. The fear has a logic, a reason, a clearly identifiable point of origin. The hardest part is the silence. The institutional silence that isn't quite silence. It's more like a careful, coordinated absence of certain sounds. No one says his name to you in a particular way. No one asks. No one doesn't ask in a way that feels deliberate enough to name. It's all deniable, all ambient, all perfectly, professionally, infuriatingly deniable. And so you do what you've watched other women do, women you didn't fully understand until now. You carry the whole weight of the thing privately. You metabolize it in real time while continuing to show up, continuing to deliver, continuing to be someone this institution can point to as evidence that everything here is functional. You are the evidence that everything here is functional. You hate that. You show up anyway. Not because you are fine. Not because you have resolved anything. Not because you found the language or made a decision or figured out what comes next. You show up because... And you are still working out what this means. Leaving would feel like losing something that was already taken from you, and you are not ready to lose it twice. You are standing by the coffee machine. You are watching the door. You are aware, with a clarity that feels almost peaceful, that you are doing this, that you now live inside a version of this building that is slightly different from the one you lived in before. The person you were, the one who took the longer route for the light, who wore the shoes she liked, who brought the ugly succulent, that person has not disappeared. She's just somewhere underneath all this watching. You can feel her sometimes, in small moments. Someone says something funny in a meeting and you laugh. Actually laugh, not the performed version. And for a second, you forget to keep track of where he is. Those seconds are something. You don't know what this looks like from the outside. Probably fine. Probably competent and composed and whatever other words people use for women who are managing. You know what it looks like from the inside. It looks like this. A woman who used to move through a space without thinking about it, now moving through that same space with extraordinary care, every step considered, every room assessed, every interaction held at a slight remove, like handling something that might be hotter than it appears. It looks like a person doing a very demanding second job that nobody hired her for and nobody is paying her for, and nobody, almost nobody, can even see. And the job is this: staying present, staying herself, staying in a building that knows what it holds, and has chosen, very deliberately, not to say so. Coffee machine hums. You pour your coffee, You don't take the longer route this morning, but you notice the light. This story is fictional, but for many people, the feeling isn't. Something in this stayed with you. Leave a comment, and if you want more stories that explore the human side of fear, power, and survival, subscribe.